is Joe Cutler. He's with Cutler Sales, and he's your local rep. And I'm going to just try to pass these around. So I'd like to know, what do we have here in terms of employee? Like, kind of tell me what you guys do here.
Warehouse.
I don't do anything.
That's my, here's my card. You guys can do nothing together on Friday afternoons and noon, maybe for a couple hours. Obviously sales, outside sales, I said it all right there.
Inside sales,
Inside
he's
sales.
sales manager.
All right.
Warehouse.
Outside sales.
HR marketing.
Outside
That's
sales.
you.
Okay.
Inside and credit.
All right. IT.
Yep.
What do you do?
Everything wrong.
He's in
You and I
and
get
out.
along
In and out.
just fine.
In and out.
Inside sales, accounting.
Accounting.
Okay. That's interesting. You guys are, you know, see, I'm going to pass it down then, I guess. Okay, so get a good feel for what everyone does here, and I kind of want to talk to you about Rust-Oleum and kind of, give you a little, hopefully, insight in some ways to grow your sales and stuff. And I'll start first by my background. Well, first of all, Joe, you've had our Rust-Oleum line for how long?
Our company's been repping Rust-Oleum about 20 years, maybe 17, but right in there.
And I've been with Rust-Oleum for 10 years. I was recently promoted to National Sales Manager, so I've been at this a while. So, with that said, I kind of want to start first by just kind of talking about, how to grow sales. And, the economy kind of sucks right now. And it's hard to, it's hard to grow sales. So, there's two ways to grow sales.
3 in the back.
Oh, what do you do, Bob?
So there's basically two ways you can grow sales. One is to go out and get new customers. And that kind of sucks, because that's really hard. That's not easy. And people that are in sales have chosen to be in sales, they don't want to work that hard. Getting new customers is hard. So if you're not going to grow sales by new customers, what's the next best way you can grow sales? And that's selling your existing customers products and you're not currently selling them. Whether that's paint, whether that's whatever, that's the easiest way to grow sales. So, with that said, the guys that are inside and outside sales, I have a question for you. How many of you are selling paint to your customers? Show of hands. How many of you, keep your hands up and say, how many of you are selling aerosols to your customers? Raise your hand. How many of you are selling gallons as well? If you're not selling gallons, drop your hands. Some, mostly aerosols. Who's selling mostly aerosols? Mostly aerosols, mostly aerosols.
50-50.
50-50. Okay. So the reason I ask that question is because this is where the fun comes in. Selling aerosols is easy. It's not that difficult. I walk into a place, I see that they've got a different brand of aerosols on the shelf. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I know if they're selling, if that's black, I know how to cross up black to black. That's pretty easy. Not that hard. So people migrate to that because it's an easy sell. It's the lowest hanging fruit. So where I'm going with this is the industrial marketplace is $2.24 billion. That's what the marketplace is out there. It's $2.24 billion for industrial sales, of which aerosols comprise 7% of the marketplace. 7%. We go to that because it's, back to sales. We're like salespeople are like rivers. We follow the path of least resistance. We're all guilty of that. Well, selling aerosols is really the path of least resistance because it's so easy. But gallons comprise 10 times more in sales than aerosols. So if you're not selling gallons, you're losing out on a huge opportunity. So let's start first with a little bit about aerosols and a little bit of gallons, and we'll have some fun about new products. And basically, I want to keep this kind of fun because listening to me talk is. What we'll do eventually, we'll break into the power teams in the Big Ten and discuss how Penn State's down and Northwestern's up. But I don't want to go there just yet because you guys all might still like me at this point. I'm a Northwestern season ticket holder. So if you come across aerosols, a few things you should know about aerosols. One is we put more solids in our paint than anybody else. So when you guys are out in the field, do you see a lot of people? A lot of your customers buying Krylon? Okay. Okay. Guys, convert it. It's easy. Here's why. We put more solids in our paint than anybody else. So what we do is we take a zebra card, it's a black and white card, and we spray paint it back and forth, up and down, up and down. That constitutes one pass. We do that twice. So we do that 2 passes. So now this is what Airvo with 2 passes looks like. Can you still see the black and white? Okay. This is Seymour after 2 passes. Airvo, Seymour. Here's Krylon Tough Coat. This is like their step above 5-ball. That's after 2 passes. Here's Krylon 5-ball after 2 passes. And there's Rust-Oleum after 2 passes. You can't see black and white. So it was really fun to do. I did this when I was out in Denver last week with a sales rep, and we had a Krylon house. And we went in there, and I said, I explained how ours is better, but I said, come on, I don't want to tell you. I grabbed a can, they had a can of ours and a can of theirs. I grabbed them both, went out to a field next to their place, took a newspaper, and just put the newspaper over this weed. I said, here, spray out the Krylon right now. He does. With white paint, he did 10 passes. And he goes, I'm good. I'm like, I can still read the newspaper. He goes, it's good enough for me. I'm like, all right, that's our standard. Good enough for you. We'll stop at 10 passes. He took ours out and went back. And that was it. And he couldn't read it. He's like, wow. So we went to his computer system. They go, no, we should be like 5 times more than you than Krylon, right? I mean, if it's 5 times the coverage and 5 times the labor, we should be 5 times more. He pulled it up, and we were actually 60 cents less a can. And I said, so here's what you're gonna do: get rid of all the Krylon, start selling ours, and don't lower our price. Keep it the same, and make more money for yourself, and give your customers a better product. So, if you don't believe me, if you come across a Krylon, just have some fun. Go to the store and go to Home Depot or buy a Krylon, buy an ours, same color, and just do that. And you'll be shocked. So if you're out in sales, you come across that opportunity, you're out in the field, just be honest, it's something fun to do. And at the end of the day, sales are sometimes tedious and boring. You're always like, hey, how are the kids, and how's your weekend? Hey, can I help you with anything? This is a chance to do something fun and different. It's like a lab experiment. So have some fun with it, do it, and trust me, it works. So you don't have to worry about it blowing up in your face, like some experiments. So I just want to kind of give you guys the comfort knowing that when you sell Rust-Oleum, you are selling a superior product than your competition. Which leads us to the gallons. So I said before that aerosols are 7% of the marketplace, and gallons are 75%, so it's 10 times more. So I want inside people to really hone in on that, because you guys can really help your outside team here tremendously. I want you guys to think about paint like you're a McDonald's store clerk. So you get $15 an hour now. Thank you for someone watching the news, that's good. Or appreciates my bad humor, one of the two. So now you're a McDonald's store clerk. And the reason I say this is because you go to McDonald's and you try to get a Big Mac. What's the first question you're asked? You want a fries and drink with that? Well, like, sure. Why not? Yeah, fries and drink with that. Well, I want you to treat paint the same way. Because if they call up and ask for an aerosol can, can I get a safety yellow can of aerosol? Sure, can I get you a gallon of safety yellow too? No, we need one right now. Okay, I just want you to let you know that we offer that as well. And treat it like that. Or, because oftentimes they might not be getting their gallons from you. So think about why they use aerosols. For the most part, using aerosols to touch up what they've already painted in gallons. So if you're getting the aerosol business but not the gallon business, that's a problem. Because I'd rather get, because 1 gallon is going to cost about the same as 6 or 7 aerosol cans. So I'm greedy. Another thing salespeople are, they're greedy. They want to make money. So I'm greedy. I want a bigger sale. So start to get in the program of asking if they want gallons with that. Because that's how you start to grow your sales. There's 3 places that your customers that you're buying from are buying gallons. They're either getting it from a hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, or a local hardware store. They're going to the Sherwin-Williams or some paint store to get it, or another distributor. So let's kind of address all 3 of those things. If they're getting them from a hardware store, here's the beautiful thing, guys. What I'm about to tell you right now, this has nothing to do with paint. This is just dollars and cents. So use this on everything. If you ever catch a customer going to Home Depot use this for anything. I don't care what they're getting from that. Use it. It costs them, and we've seen studies on this, it costs them $150 in lost labor to send somebody down the street to buy something. Doesn't matter what they're buying, it costs them $150 in lost labor. And it costs them $100 to cut a PO. Who said they were in accounting? What's it cost you guys to cut a PO? Do you know? About $100?
That's fine.
So think about the logic behind that. We're going to send Joe down the street to get, a gallon of paint. We're talking about paint right now, but it could be a pair of gloves. It could be anything. At Home Depot. Oh, great! It costs you $150 in lost labor and $100 to cut a PO. And what'd you save? 50 cents in that gallon? Did you save anything at all? So use that, because you got to get it in their heads that why are they sending someone down the street to Home Depot to buy that? And that's the same with the paint store. The paint store is still costing the same thing. Nothing's different. They're going down and they're sending someone there to get it. Okay? Or they're going to the paint store because they don't know that you offer gallons. And a lot of your customers will probably not even realize that you offer gallons. And because you're no different than any other distributor I talk to. People think of you guys as an aerosol place sometimes, and I know some of your customers are buying gallons, and I get that, but not all of them are. And the average manufacturing plant spends about $10,000 a year in industrial maintenance paint. So for the guys that said they're in outside sales, how many customers are you selling $10,000 in paint to a year?
None.
Perfect. So you know what that is? That's room for growth, which I love. So we're not capped out. That's good. We have room to grow. So the point is, start asking questions. And here's some examples if you're trying to think of like, what do they use paint on? Well, I was up at Utah as well last week. I travel a ton. American and Hilton love me. I was in Utah at a food plant, and they paint all the time. And I was with a rep like Joe, and I knew the answer already. That's okay. I wanted him to hear the answer for himself. I go, why do you paint? He goes, well, our biggest customer is Sam's Club. And I go, how often does Sam's Club come to visit you guys? 3 or 4 times a year. And I go, I'm like a lawyer. I feel like I'm Perry Mason. For you young kids, that's an old TV show. Raymond Burr, it doesn't matter. So you got, I know the answer. I'm like, so they come 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah, I go, and what do you do before they arrive? They paint. They paint everything. And I knew that, and I said, why do you do that? He goes, well, if we lose Sam's Club, we're out of business. So when Sam's Club comes, it gets painted. What gets painted? All the yellow handrails throughout the facility, the floors, the machines, anything that looks like it even has a hint of rust on it, they're to paint. Because they don't want to lose Sam's Club as a customer. And your customers all have a Sam's Club. It may not be Sam's Club, but they have someone like that they're painting for. So when you think about paint opportunities, just know that they're doing that all the time. And if you're not selling them the aerosols and the gallons, when it comes time for them to do that big paint project, they're not going to think of you. They're going to think of someone else. They're going to think of the Sherwin-Williams down the street. They're going to think of wherever. And the third place they could be buying paint from is another distributor. Sure, that's a possibility. And to that, I put the ball in the salespeople's court. If you're selling $400,000 to, since we're right by here, we'll say Hershey's. You're selling $400,000 to Hershey's, and Granger's selling them $100,000, and Granger's getting the paint. Then I would say shame on you as a salesperson. You have the relationship, they don't. They should be buying from you. If you're doing $50,000 there, and Granger's doing $1 million, of course they have the paint. Because they should. They have the relationship. So the place that you have the relationship with, that's where you want to start looking at where you should, look to sell paint. And have, get those $10,000 orders, and that's what happens when you start to get in there. So again, just to talk about a few things before we get to the next level. One is, everyone's buying aerosols. That's a low-hanging fruit. That's easy to convert. Ours is better. Oftentimes it'll be less money. We should be 2 or 3 times more, but we're not. And that leads to gallon sales. Inside team talk about gallons. So now, how many of you guys have iPhones? Most everybody have iPhones. Salespeople, do you have iPhones or do you have Androids?
Android.
Seriously? Really? Does anybody have an iPhone in this place? Great. The accountant's got an iPhone. The one that can't help us with this. Really? That's fantastic. What do you?
I have one too.
I mean, you're at HR. Great. HR and accounting have the iPhones. The salespeople. Scratch that off the list. We have a really cool app for iPhones only. No one else has an iPhone?
Our one sales guy.
What? Do you have an iPad?
Two sales guys.
Do you have an iPad?
Yeah.
You work with iPads too, so I'm going to demonstrate anyway. So here's, who said they have an iPad? Okay, so this is kind of fun. So now, here's the thing. So you guys, salespeople are, again, I'm a salesperson. Path of least resistance, right? We like to sell things that we know about. Because last thing we want to do is ask a question and know the answer to, because then we look like idiots. We're very vague, we don't look like an idiot. So all of a sudden, what's your name?
Chris.
Chris. So after this meeting, Chris goes, I'm going to start selling paint. He goes out and calls, and the guy goes, oh my gosh, your timing couldn't be better. I want to paint that machine right there. What do you recommend? And Chris is going to be like,
Green.
son of a...
9100,
He's
sir.
going to pull the old hubbada. Ralph Cramden, honeymooners for you young people. And not know the answer. He's like, yeah, you know what, doesn't matter. Let's just talk about pipes. Who cares about paint? So we have an app called, and you can download this on your iPad or iPhone. Just go and Google Rust-Oleum, do a search on your store, and it's called Paint Pro. And I'm just going to demonstrate this really quick because it's going to make your ability to make a recommendation so easy. So obviously you'd be like calling the accountant and the HR person, hey, really quick, can you pull that app up? You're the customer right now. Can you pull that app up? It's fantastic. I gotta cut checks right now. No, checks can wait. So in the upper corner you see guided search. Click on guided search. And you get 6 questions that you have to have answered. Easy. What type of surface do you want to paint? Aluminum, concrete, drywall, steel, metal. We'll look at metal. That's a good one. Most common. Where is it being painted, inside or outside? I can answer that one. We'll go inside. What are the exposure conditions? Mild, moderate, or severe? I don't know, moderate, because that's pretty common. Do you have any VOC restrictions, in case you guys are wondering? It's going to be 340 VOCs in this state. So it's always 340, so click on that. Do you have a coating preference? Solvent or water? 90% of the time it's going to be solvent. We'll get to that in a second. That's my son texting me because he figured out the Cubs were playing an afternoon playoff game. He's trying to fly in from Nebraska for the game. So he's like, Dad, I need to play an afternoon game. I can't go now. And what is your coating preference? 1 part spray paint or 2 part? We'll go 1 part. Once I have all that, I click submit. Voila. Those are all the products that will work on that surface. I click on the V7400 system, which is my go-to. You went 91 before. V74 is your go-to. Because it's simple, it's easy. And all I do is I select my color. I want to do Marlin Blue, is the first one I saw. And I can actually now take up here and send an email, which will then send this off to my customer with a technical data sheet of what I recommend. So in about 90 seconds, I was able to make a recommendation without any problem at all. So pretty cool. It takes the pain away from it. But if you do get asked that question and you have an Android, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to get into catalogs. That's boring. But there's 2 types of paint. There's oil and water. Obviously, water dries in about a half hour, and it cleans up really easily. So it's nice to clean up. And yet we don't sell a lot of it. Anybody know why we don't sell a lot of water-based? It's mostly oil. Anyone know? Get down, get down.
A lot of old timers still think oils last the longest.
I'll give you partial credit. Look, we go back to high school. I remember very little from high school. All I remember is oil and water don't mix. So if I use a water-based paint, I have to have that surface really, really clean. So if I leave any oil on there, it's not going to adhere to it. So oil is very forgiving. And I can just slap on oil, and it's going to be awesome. It may take 8 hours to dry. It's going to be hard to clean up, but it's easy. So you're going to do this V7400 system is your basic one. Epoxy, 9100 epoxy is great. But I'm not going to get into all that because that's kind of boring. So now we'll get some fun stuff, because now I want to talk about some fun products that we have that will be exciting, that you guys can actually be excited about, because I want to make you guys money. How many food and beverage customers do you guys have?
Maybe we have total?
Fair amount.
A lot, yeah.
A lot. That's my favorite answer.
Yeah.
I love the answer a lot. You ever heard of a product called Steal It?
Yes.
So I'm all about asking leading questions, because I like to ask questions on sales calls. Are you currently buying a product called, every food and beverage customer should ask one question. Are you currently buying a product called Steal It? Simple question. Ask it. The answer will be yes about 90% of the time, and they're buying it direct. So what is Steal It? It's a stainless steel paint. And the reason it has 316L flakes in it, and what they do is they put it on their pumps. So if you've been in a food and beverage plant, everything there, all the machines are made of stainless steel. It's all stainless. What's not stainless is the pumps, the motors, the gearboxes, the structural steel. And that's what they're painting with Steal It. So once you've established they're buying Steal It, I want you then to say, great, today is your lucky day. We have a product that outperforms Steal It. I'm not even going to go there for now. I don't care. It does. Trust me. You know what they're paying for an aerosol can to Steal It? They're buying it direct. What?
$40, 40 or $50.
It's 25 is what I usually see in the field.
Oh,
If it's 40 or 50, you're going to make even more money.
I know the gallons are expensive.
We'll get to that in a second. So aerosols, they're paying $25 or more for a can of Steal It aerosol. Your price, and they're buying that direct, so you're not getting that sale. Your price on our Steel Tech, which has 316L flakes in it, looks like this. That's what stainless steel paint looks like. It's got 316L flakes in it. It's very protective. No rust going through. Your cost in this is about $6.53.
We stock it.
And you stock it. And you should be charging your customer about, what was that? What'd you say again? We stock. I want that.
We stock it.
Yeah, no, I know. I wanted to hear that again like that.
Both the gallons and the aerosols.
We'll get that in a second. So $6.53 an aerosol can, guys. You're paid on commission. Charge 15. Don't get too greedy because someone else might come in behind you and undercut you. 15's fine. You'll make a lot of profit and you'll give them a better product and you're gonna save them money. The gallons, to your point, with Steal It, you have to prime it, which their primer costs $125. And you have to have 2 coats to get the proper coverage. And they're paying $2.50 a gallon. So think about that. They're paying to do 3 coats of primer, and it takes about 8 hours to dry. So that's a 3-day process to paint it. Ours is 1 coat, no primer. They're paying $2.50, and a lot of them don't do the primer with 2 top coats. They don't have time, so they slap on 1 coat, which doesn't get enough hide. They don't care. So they're paying still $2.50. Your cost in a gallon is $75. Charge them $1.50. Save them money, give them a better product, and you're a hero. So if you're not selling Steel Tech, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. They're spending, each of your food plants are spending a couple $1,000s a year on the stainless steel paint. Why? Because every time the FDA comes for a site visit, they're going to repaint all the motors, all the pumps, they want it all to look perfect. So if you're not selling that to them, you're doing a disservice to your customer and to yourself. It's losing money. I want to make you money, not losing money. So that's one cool thing. Another question I'd love to ask on a sales call, because again, I like getting yeses. Do you have any areas in your plant where safety is an issue? Well, gee, what's the answer there? Yes. What's the problem? Where are your oils, where are your waters that cause you the safety issues? They've all got them. You're in the warehouse. How many consecutive days have you guys gone without an injury? I asked the guy with the fridge slipped on his hand. Great. Well, Friday I fell down off the forklift, and prior to you screwing things up for the whole company. Do you know the answer? How many days?
I do not. Probably a good couple of months.
I mean, most companies have a sign out front that says, "We are proud we've gone 438 days without an injury." I mean, most companies advertise that because they're very proud of it. And you can't go, and you've been out in sales calls, you can't walk in a plant without seeing that number, right?
Yeah.
The average slip and fall costs a company upwards of $30,000. That's with disability, that's with insurance, that's with lost wages, $30,000. I was at the Frito-Lay plant in Arizona, in Tucson, just talking about this product I'm going to show you right here, because they had a guy fall off a step, slipped. They actually thought he was paralyzed. He had back injury before that, and he actually thought he was paralyzed. Turns out he's not, thankfully. But after our meeting, they're going to buy a bunch of this Safe Step product. But to me, that's reactive. I want to be proactive, so I want to get them before they have that slip and fall. So ask the question: Is there an area of your plant where safety is an issue? So what this is a fiberglass reinforced step cover. It comes in a sheets of 32 by 10 up to 59 by 13 and a half. And all you do is you glue it and screw it. So if you got steps in a plant, there's 3 things you can do with those steps to make them safe. You can put tape down. That works for a little while, but then it wears off. When it wears off, does anyone try to remove that tape? Put new tape down? Not easy. How long does that take you?
Take you a while.
Thank
But
you.
If you got it in there scraping, use glue remover to get the glue off or whatever.
Perfect. You just answered my question. Forever. So that's not very effective. You can put paint down. We have plenty of anti-slip paint coatings. We got different levels of anti-slip. We can go really severe, really mild. Put that down. But paint isn't really a permanent solution. It's a temporary solution. It'll eventually be repainted. But what's the really downside to paint or tape? The surface has to be completely dry, doesn't it? They can't put it down if it's wet, if it's damp, they have to clean it. So it has to be a shutdown, more or less. The beautiful thing about this is, I can apply this over a wet surface. It's just glue and screw. So I just put it down, I add my glue, and I screw in it on each corner, and I'm done. You sell it to a food plant, you're going to want to caulk the edges here so nothing goes underneath. This is a real easy thing to self-test. It's fiberglass reinforced. The question I get asked all the time, and I answer this the same way every single time. Someone says, how long is this going to last? My question to the guy that asked the question is, when are you going to retire? 15 years, good, not your problem. Don't worry about it. So it comes in medium and the coarse grit that you see there, that's the coarse one. It comes in medium too. Guys, I've had customers buy $50,000 in one plant. NEMAC down in Alabama they must have had a slip and fall at some point because they spent $48,000 to put that on every single step in their facility. Also, it's great for walkways. We sell more of the flat without the step edge. It comes in 47 by 47 and 47 by 94. So it's the sheets you put down, and they're tapered at the end, so you're not going to trip on them. So so for walkways. You guys sell any bakeries? You have a couple bakeries. I see a head out of there. Those are really slippery because of the flour. Believe it or not, bakeries are horrible because the floor, that flour gets on there. It's really slippery. And that's actually where at the Frito-Lay, it was the floor where some oils were. When they came down the step, that's where the guy fell. So they wanted to put a square thing there so that when people came off that step, they weren't. And when I was walking the plant, I almost fell. I'm like, Jesus, this is tough. So it's great for walkways inside and outside as well. And we also just came out with ladder rungs. So for outside application, where guys have ladders that they have to climb up in the inclement weather, it's the medium grit ones. When I say medium grit, think of it as a locker room floor. How you walk on a locker room floor, you don't slip, but you feel that there's a little texture. That's what the medium grit's like. So it's not as severe as that, but it's still going to work, and that's what the ladder rungs are. So you're not going to hurt your hand climbing up, but it will give you the extra bit of safety when you're going up there. So some pretty cool products. They're fun, and I like fun products. They're really fun and easy to talk about. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. How many of you seen commercials on Never Wet? You all seen the commercial, right?
Yeah.
Cool product. It repels water. Pretty cool. So it's what Never Wet is. It's a super hydrophobic coating. So what does that mean? Well, hydro means water. Phobic means fear of. So that you put this coating on as a fear of water. So that's what So basically, what happens is you put the product on a surface, and water shoots off of there. You can't stay on there. Really cool. Everyone's like, yeah, it's really cool. Okay, great. How do I sell that in an industrial application? Because that's always the next question. How do I sell that in an industrial application? So, of course, I have one question to ask any customer. Do you have any areas in your plant where water is an issue? The answer is no. There's no use for Never Wet. If the answer is yes, how many plants go on where water is an issue? Pretty much every single one. So the answer is yes, most of the time. You say, what's the issue? So I'm going to give you guys 2 examples of where I've used Never Wet in the field that you guys will hopefully, a light bulb will go off in your head, and you'll say, I got an application for that. That's usually what happens when you talk about these with people, is that all of a sudden, it happened to me last week at that food plant in Utah. Once I mentioned the 2 stories, they go, we got one. So anyway, the one is at a cooling tower in Iowa. and the cooling tower in Iowa was freezing up on the inside. So what do you suppose happened to the fans? Clink, clink. They hit the ice. They had to replace 8 fans at $6,000 a fan. It's pretty expensive. So the solution was that we sold them never wet gallons. We coated the inside of the cooling tower with the never wet gallons. Well, again, if it's afraid of water, ice can't form, right? We solved the problem. Another cool one was down here, and I was with another distributor out here making a call at a pizza place over in Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania. And it was a pizza place, and what happened was they had a freezer, and you get it, there's a food plant place, this a lot. There was a freezer that came out, the pizza came out of the freezer out to the manufacturing facility, right? Out to the plant on the conveyor belt, right? So it comes out of here. So pretend that this is the opening here where the freezer's behind this wall, here's the opening where the conveyor belt comes out. Well, ice was forming all along this wall and that wall, right? Because that's the difference in temperature. So we suppose that water, once that ice melted, we suppose the water was going on the conveyor, exactly. And you know, food plants don't like water in their plants because that's not good around food, is it? There's no way to solve that problem until now. We simply took that. So the other one was a $5,000 never wet solution with coating the whole inside of the tank. Cost them about $5,000 in product plus their labor, but a lot cheaper than $48,000. This was actually a $25 solution. That's how much it cost them for the aerosol cans. Spray the perimeter with the base coat, and you top coat it. $25. Solve the problem, because if water can't go on there, ice can't form. If there's no ice, there'll be no condensation down the conveyor belt. When I mentioned that story to the people in Utah, like, wow, we have a pipe that comes out of that freezer that comes out here that does the same thing. It condensates right there. So they're going to paint the pipe where the temperature is. And it will leave a slight haze, but who cares? A slight haze is better than condensation down the line. Never wet works great. The problem with never wet is it's not a permanent coating, and abrasion will wear it off. If you're putting it inside a cooling tower, no one's going to touch it. You put it on a wall, no one's going to touch it. So if you're putting it on people say, well, I want to paint my floor with it. Yeah, no, because every time I step on it, I'm going to wear it down, and it's not going to work. So it's abrasion going to wear it down. It's not going to work on oils, so it's going to wear it down too. Anything aggressive like that, it won't work. We do a product called Never Wet Oleophobic, which means fear of oil. So you can paint pumps and motors and gearboxes with that, and it'll repel oil the same way that Never Wet repels water. Not a permanent solution, so if you're looking for something that's going to last years and years and years, it's not going to happen. But to recoat every now and then, but that's a lot easier than doing wash downs every night.
You say it does leave a haze though?
It will leave a haze. What doesn't leave a haze is our Never Wet fabric. We have Never Wet fabric, which if I put on this shirt, you wouldn't even know it's there. I wouldn't even know it's there. But if it rained, I'd be completely dry. You can actually, it's a pretty cool product too. It's called Never Wet Fabric, and there is no haze on that one. Other ones do leave a haze, but again, I don't care if my wall's got a slight haze as long as there's no ice on there. Haze may not be the nicest thing in the world to look at, but a lot better than the condensation going down the line. I'm looking at the time, so I'm doing pretty well, so I got a few more products I want to talk about. We do have, and I know you guys have sold some flooring. Most of the product, here's the deal, I'll make this real easy. Anything in this catalog that we have that you guys have access to, anybody can put this down themselves. You and I can go out and put it down, and I'm probably the least handy person in this room. This is all easy stuff to put down. Any maintenance facility manager can put anything down in this catalog. And it's easy to make, you can make recommendations out of this catalog. All you do is if you look at the catalog, it'll say, well, it works on, and it gives you the substrate. Oh, it works on steel, galvanized aluminum. Yeah, you can use this product. Sure, it'll work. I mean, that's that easy to make recommendations. It's that easy to use. If you get flooring situations where they have caustic wash downs and stuff, that's when you get a hold of Joe and say, we got a floor situation. Get a hold of one of our tech guys. We'll come out here and take a look at it. Those are huge opportunities. You know, we don't want you guys getting in the habit of quoting that stuff unless you know it. Otherwise, let us do that. But usually, it's going to be someone else putting that stuff down. But just know that there's huge opportunities for flooring as well, because a lot of your customers have floors. But again, if you're not selling them the gallons, they're not going to think about you when it comes time to put a floor down, because you're not the paint guy. You got to be the paint guy first. Once you're the paint guy, then they'll say, hey, we got to paint this floor. Any recommendations? Then it becomes fun.
Have you guys done many floors?
Done a couple, we have contractors install them.
So you have a contractor out here that you use? I've got one out this way, that's one of them.
And within the
NBC.
epoxy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually what I was gonna recommend, so.
Well, there you go. See? But if you guys get like opportunities, just again, get a hold of them, it'll work out fine. We've made 2 purchases recently that I want you to be aware of. One is Crud Cutter. Do you guys sell any Simple Green? You guys sell any cleaner degreaser at all?
Just what you have Rust-Oleum, I mean, that.
Okay. You should be, I would start again, when you go out and calls, ask your customers if they're buying any cleaner degreaser. They're either buying a product called Simple Green or something else along those lines. You're going to sell our Crud Cutter is a crossover for that. And they're mostly buying that in 55-gallon drums. So it's like a $4 order when you get it. So it's a pretty good order.
And that can go right on with our regular Rust-Oleum order?
That's the best thing. 24 case minimums, you can add Crud Cutter to it. So if you need 3 or 4 cases, and a 55-gallon drum is considered 55 cases. A 5-gallon drum is considered 5 cases. But it's a cool product, and I'm not going to get into the whole differences between Simple Green and Crud Cutter, other than to tell you that ours is environmentally friendly. It's got the design for the environment logo, and also is NSF certified, so they actually can sell this in a food plant. So if you can actually flush it down the toilet. It's cool stuff. And it also, I'm not going to mention, there's a whole catalog here, I'm not going to mention all the products in there, but Oil Grabber is pretty fun. There's an oil stain, you pour this on it, and it actually turns into powder and sucks up the oil, and you sweep it up when you're done. It's pretty cool. But there's all sorts of stuff in here, the parts washers, the must for rust, it's some cool stuff. And we bought the company, so there's some cool stuff there. How much marking paint do you guys sell?
Some.
So, not enough.
Do someone striking paint for the market.
I saw some marking paint in the warehouse. So I'm going to tell you something fun, and then we're going to do a little field trip. But this is our newest product. It's so new, it's in a bag. So we asked what we could do to make, because marking paint's a big deal. A lot of your customers are buying it, and they mark stuff, and surveyors are marking stuff all the time. And we said, what could we do to make your job easier as a surveyor when it comes to paint? The answer was, get rid of the can. We're the #1 manufacturer of aerosols in the world. You want us to get rid of the can. What else do you want us to do? Because that's not going to work. Well, we actually went to the drawing board and figured out how to make marking paint without a can. So why was the can a big deal to then get rid of it? Well, the reason is because if you go through a lot of paint, what happens is when the propellant runs out, you have about 10 to 20% of the paint will not be used. It doesn't matter if it's Rust-Oleum, Seymour, Airvo, Krylon. Once the propellant runs out, you get unused paint. So you can't just throw that in the garbage. If you do, you get caught, there's heavy fines. AT&T got fined $500,000 in California for doing that. So what a lot of surveyors do is they come and have every 3rd Friday, they come to the shop and they poke holes in the bottom of cans, drain the paint, and throw them out. Throw out the cans. Now they can dispose of the cans. How much money are they making when they're doing that? Nothing. That's like a lost day for them. So, we came out with Spray Smart. It's ridiculous technology. So what this is paint in a pouch. So think of this as like a Capri Sun. So it's a Capri Sun essentially. It's in a pouch. And what happens with a Capri Sun when you're done drinking it? What happens? You get that. What do you do with it then?
Throw it away.
Throw in the garbage. You can actually throw this in the garbage when you're done. You get 100% evacuation. There's no waste. You throw it in the garbage. This is a lithium battery device, pressurized device. The pouch goes in the device. It creates the pressure that forces the paint out. It goes in right in our regular striping wand, so there's no big deal there. But the technology is ridiculous. You get 100% evacuation. Also, when you mark on dirt, you ever seen a survey? They go like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like 5 or 6 times. You know why they're doing that? Trying to get the line to stick. Because what happens is that the propellant gets blown out so fast that all the dirt moves. So they're doing this 5 or 6 times so they can actually get a line in the sand. Kind of like we had in Syria that we didn't, never mind. I know how I think of these things, this comes out. I have no filter. it just, you're gonna edit that off.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what happens is when you that's why they're doing that. With this, because there's no, it's not propellant in there, there's no propellant in there, it comes out at a nice steady pace. So one pass, it'll go on any surface. It happens in snow the same way. It blows out like that in snow. This is just one pass. But 100% evacuation, it's, and the other cool thing is, like, if I'm a surveyor and I had to go out to the field 100 yards, I can only bring like 2 or 3 cans with me because my pouch is only so big. I can put like 6 or 7 of these pouches in there. Plus, if I'm a surveyor and I got, this can is brand new and that one that I've used before, they're both fluorescent orange. Which one am I bringing out with me? The full one, right? Because I don't want to bring it out there and have it run out and go, I got to walk all the way back to the truck to get a new can. Because you have no idea how much paint's in there. With this, because it's see-through, I'll always know how much paint is left in the pouch. So I'll use every pouch till it evacuates. I can bring a half pouch out there with me without any fear, because carrying pouches is, carrying a 12-pack of Capri Sun around my waist is nothing. Try carrying a 12-pack of paint around my waist. That's a much bigger deal. So it's a really cool product. This kind of shows you innovation. This will be out in about a month. So this will be kind of cool. Something fun and exciting. And then I just want to kind of touch base on one more thing before we go on our little field trip. How many of you guys sell concrete patch and repair products? What do you sell primarily?
Turbocrete.
Turbocrete? Okay.
Little two-part things.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick little floor patch go-to guide. Big holes, Turbocrete is great. If by the way, if your customers are buying if they're buying DevCon or Loctite, know that you're about a third you're about a third less. So if they're buying that, we've done tests, we've outperformed them. But if you see DevCon, say, let me quote you against that. You're using that because they're probably paying about $1.75 for a Loctite or DevCon product, same size, and you're probably charging them about $1.25 for the Turbocrete or thereabouts. So it's that much of a difference. So make sure you know that if your customers are buying Loctite or DevCon, have at it. And then the other products that we have are the flexible joint sealant. You would use that where the joists are on the floor, so that if there's a movement in the floor, this moves with it. You mentioned the epoxy, Turbocrete epoxy. You would use that on like a vertical application. Those are great for vertical. Are you familiar with Instapatch? Have you seen it demoed?
Yeah, we had some samples. We gave away some samples already.
All right. Well, here's my tip on that. I'll be happy to give you all the samples you want this because you will sell this by the pallets. But giving away a sample, I would say never do. I'm going to make you do to them what I'm going to do to you. Because if you don't show this, I guarantee the people you gave samples to, no offense, but they're probably still in that guy's room. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a field trip. Take the camera with you because this is actually kind of fun. This is the first thing the camera you're actually going to save. The rest of the stuff you're going to edit out and get rid of. This one you're actually going to save. I went back there and I found a great spot in your floor out in the warehouse that we're going to actually go out there and patch. And what this is going to do is going to patch in less than 5 minutes. So we're going to take a little excursion to the warehouse and finish up there. I can go to any warehouse, I can demo this product, and I can get a sale. I had a distributor salesperson that did this small little demo at a Walmart distribution center, and they sold 13 gallons. Get a PO for 13 gallons on the spot. You guys pay $84.50 for a kit of this. It comes in a kit of gallons or quarts. If you get a gallon, it's $84.50. You get a half gallon of each product, A and B. You mix them together. The cool thing about this is, when I mix them together, I've got about 30 to 40 seconds to make this put down. So only mix what you're going to use. So if you have a gallon and I want to do this whole, and I measure out, in 2 measuring cups, a little bit here, a little bit there. Put the tops back on. I can put this back on the shelf, and it's still good for 2 years. So don't worry about having it go bad. But also, what's cool about this is it comes in silver gray. It also comes in tile red. So for fruit plants, they've got to give a tile red. So sell it to them like crazy because they want to patch floors. The average, and you guys can tell me if you're average or not, but the average company spends about $12,000 a year in forklift repairs per forklift. That's from hitting holes, that's from hitting walls, from hitting everything. But it's $12,000 a year. So if you can solve the hole problem, we can't solve the bad driver problem, but we can solve the hitting holes problem for them. This will also be applied down to -5 degrees. So for freezers, it's a great application. I'll be happy to demo this. Does somebody else want to do this? One of the ladies want to demo this. It's that easy. Anyone?
I'll do it.
You want to do it? Come on.
Sam, he was in the first meeting.
I wasn't in, I'm not even in the meeting, I just joined in.
So what do you want to do?
He just saw
Here
through.
you are.
He doesn't work here. He's the Watson.
Yeah, I'm the Watson Mayo rep.
Shake him up. Okay. Take the top off of whichever one you want. One's part A, one's part B.
Okay.
Poke a hole in that one. Oh, don't use your finger! If that gets on your finger, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You had me for a second.
I know, I tried that. So I did it. Oh, okay, I'll hold that.
Okay.
So undo that one. Undo that one.
Okay.
All right, now pour one into the other. And once you have it poured. Now, did you drink yesterday watching football? You need a steady hand to pour that.
No, I didn't watch any football yesterday.
Now go ahead and now we're going to mix this up. It's already starting to activate. Go ahead and mix that up. Give it about 15, 20 seconds of shaking. Really feel good? Feel good? All right. Go ahead and pour the big hole. Now, normally there's two ways to do this. We've already cleaned this out before we started this. So when you do this, pour it in. Try to get level. You can always grind it down later, but we're just going to do a demo here, so we're not going to get exact. You're going to pour it in. When you feel it's pretty good, there's another hole next to it that you can probably pour a little bit in. Over here. You got this one here and that one there. If you have enough, you've been in a hurry though, you got to move quickly. It's probably already starting to activate. Throw that one in.
That one over there?
Oh, yeah, poured that one.
Oh, that one's bad.
It's a speed
Yeah, they need to grind that one.
It's better than we'll put. We didn't clean that one.
Okay.
All right. How hot is that getting in your hand, by the way?
It's pretty warm right now.
Yeah, it is. Okay, you can close that out. All right. In about 2 or 3 minutes, it's going to start to smoke. And then it's going to. By the way, so in case you guys are wondering right now, how cool my job is. About once or twice a week, I get to watch paint dry. So next time someone says that's as boring as watching paint dry, I say, no, actually that's pretty cool. Because it smoked, and then it turned gray. It's going to turn to a gray color. In about 10 minutes, it'll be fully cured. I can drive a forklift over it. In 15 minutes, I can tap into it. There's nothing, it's a polyurea, there's nothing else out there like it. And it's already turning gray.
Jim, if they want to paint the floor afterwards,
Absolutely.
the paint will adhere to it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Before they do a floor job, they're going to put turbocrete in the bigger holes. They're going to put this in the smaller cracks. If you have a crack, what you would do is you would actually grind it, make it a little bit bigger, so you have more flow to it, and then pour that in there. And that will take any crack you have. See a small little hand grinder and just grind it open a little bit. And then you will get that type of...
What's the minimum, maximum thickness of that?
So here's the thing. It can go. You don't want to go too big a hole. Just think of it in terms of if it's too big, turbocrete. If it's a nice little, like this is a great size for it. What's interesting is, and I am not a scientist. I'm barely even a salesperson, but I'm not a scientist. I have no idea why this is. Just trust me, it is. The bigger the hole, the quicker it cures. As you see, those two little holes over there are smaller. They're not quite curing as much yet. I have no idea why. I asked that question once to the chemist. He gave me an answer, and I was like this, going, yeah, whatever. So when you do it with a crack, just know that you pour it, and you say, well, geez, when Jim did it, it turned right away. Why isn't it for me? You know, the first time I did like a small little crack, and it was staying black, and I'm like dripping sweat. I'm like, oh, I just screwed this up. What did I do wrong? I shook it both pretty well. Just know that eventually it will turn gray. It just takes longer. So don't be afraid of trying it. Just know that when you do it, it's going to take longer. But this is already starting to cure. It's amazing stuff. It really is cool. But again, -5 degrees. It comes in tile red for food plants. So the point is, while this is finishing up, I know we're at our
What about
hour.
the excess though? I mean, is that?
So
okay to
the excess right here,
Is it okay to just get rid of?
feel that.
It's hard.
It's hot.
Oh,
Hard.
yeah. Clothing garbage. This is we're using as a paperweight.
New age hand warmers.
That is, yeah. Yeah, you go to a football game, put that on.
It's actually hot. That's just not warm. That's hot.
That's hot.
I'm surprised it
Right
doesn't
on the bottom,
show
the bottom,
up.
the bottom,
Yeah.
that's hot.
So it's pretty cool. So we got, it's hot. So that's why I said, when you do this, don't give it to them. Do what I did. Come out and when you show this product, you can't help but get a PO. It's impossible not to. Demo it like I just did. Force them to come watch you do it. If you don't demo it, it's easy to say this stuff. Also, for inside and outside salespeople, we have YouTube videos on all the products I showed you. Just go on Rust-Oleum, Google Steel Tech, Rust-Oleum, and I can send you. Did you give the brain sharks I sent you? You can forward that to everybody then. And I got these brain sharks I do where they're little 3 or 4 minute presentations. At the end of the brain shark is a video showing stuff like this being done. Take those, Bob has them, they'll forward them to you guys. Send to your customers, hey, check out this new product from Rust-Oleum. Because again, in sales we're lazy. If I can make a sale and never leave my computer, hallelujah. So take this Instapatch presentation, forward it to all your customers. Hey, check out this new product from Rust-Oleum. Let me know what you think. I'll give me a PO, whatever you want to say in your email. But it'll show them this product. I have a Safe Step, I have Steel Tech, I have Crud Cutter, I have Never Wet. So I have a lot of the products we just talked about today. The little short presentations. Fire them off to your customers and make a sale without actually leaving your desk.
Did you bring any extra literature on the Crud Cutter and
We do have some. We'll send more out, and we're going to get all of you guys in outside sales your own little kit to go out and demo. We have those in the car, right? How many outside salespeople do you have? So 80% of you guys will have a kit. So most of you will have a kit to show. We can get you more kits. So if you need more kits, just ask. But you can already see this one's really. You can see it again. See over there, it's starting.
You said 10 minutes, so it's hard.
Yeah, it's already hard now.
15 until you can control it.
Yeah, you can tap into a 15. It's actually probably almost. I mean, it's already rock hard. I'm gonna let it sit a little bit longer, but it's pretty hard.
So if they have a hole in the floor that's maybe 1.5 inch diameter, we could fill it up with that, and then they could drill it out and tap that then once it's sorted.
Yeah. It's gonna be twice the strength of concrete, so it's gonna be a lot stronger. The other thing I would tell you too is if you have a crack, a deep crack, put a backer rod in, and then otherwise you're just gonna be filling, wasting it. So just put a backer rod in, it'll solve anything. Now a lot of guys, for floor joists, you should use the flexible joint sealant. That's gonna move with the floor. But a lot of guys, what they'll do is I've heard guys say, I'm just gonna put it on all my joints because if it eventually pops out, who cares? It doesn't cost that much. And it's so easy to pour this in. Because eventually what happens is if you put in a joist, it's going to pop out. More floor movement, it may take a couple years, but it's going to pop. But how hard is that to put down? Not hard at all.
Sam.
So if Sam can do it.
You didn't quite put enough in that first one. But.
Well, the point it was better than it was before. It's better than it was before. That's all that counts. So the key though is just to wrap things up here. First of all, thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time, and thank you for your attention. But just again, remember, paint is a huge opportunity to every one of your customers. So if they're buying paint elsewhere, find out where, quote them, be aggressive. If they're getting paint from someone, that's my favorite saying. If they're buying paint from somebody, it may as well be you. If you're the relationship, then it should be you. And if you don't, well, then you'll go to someone with a better relationship. But get the relationship. But that's it.
Thank you.
Joe's your main contact, if and he'll help you. And then question: are we doing ride-alongs tomorrow on Wednesday? Do you have that lined up? I see a lot of raised eyebrows, Joe.
That was what we discussed at the meeting.
Let me rephrase that. Does anybody want to ride with us tomorrow?
Let's see what Sam's up for it.
You're my guy. You're my guy.
That's right.
To see how I can pull together.
Demo boy.
Yeah.
I love going to food and beverage customers because that's usually a huge opportunity. So if anyone wants to take us on some food and beverage customers, that's always a good place. I didn't even mention that we have Zinsser. We own Zinsser. Zinsser's a mold and mildew paint. Mold and mildew in a floor is a fruit plant's bad. So we have solutions for that.
And what do you guys recommend cleaning that out prior? With a brush?
Yeah, I just had to blow it out.
Okay.
Right here, I don't really care. You want to blow it out, you want to get it nice and clean. I said, hey, can you pull this out before you start your stream? So this is a demo, I don't care. If it pops out tomorrow, I could put it less.
Grind that off, you know?
Yeah, well, if we filled it up, we could have ground it.
Let's get it's a little soft now.
See, look at that. It's so uneven.
Oh, you're
supposed to grind it.
This is a trip hazard now, here.
You can't grind it, it's not on it.
Here we go, Sam.